So black would have to take, bishop takes a8, now bishop f5, bishop has to leave, takes, takes, and knight f3. Looks like black is fine. In this case, he didn't have to play rook c8, and he could have castled. However, rook c8, so again, Xiong wants to be on the safe side. No tactical complications. 8 takes b6, 8 takes b6, and knight d4. So white got the square b5, he got the a file. He needs to solve the problem of the knight d2, the knight needs to go somewhere, and then maybe now he'll have some little chances to get an advantage. So queen b8, and white plays b3. I'm not sure about this move. What's the point of that? White is trying to prepare the square c4 for the knight, but I would probably say if I want to play this position for advantage, then knight b5 looks like a good option. But also, one thing that's always disturbing is this, the rook on c8 versus queen on c2. So I would honestly consider bringing the queen somewhere in a safer place, like queen d3. Maybe the queen can go to b5 then and attack the pawn b6. But b3, I personally have problems with that because the pawn c3 gets weak. And even if the knight gets to c4, there will be always tactical complications around that. So let's see what happened. b3, short castle, knight c4, nothing hangs yet, rook f8, and bishop a3. So white made a lot of moves that look nice, but together they make not much sense. And now black goes for some tactical complications. Even though he absolutely didn't need them, he could have played d5. His position would be slightly better. E takes d5, bishop takes d5, knight b5, then takes, takes, knight c5. So the bishop now is blocked. b4 is not an option, obviously, because of the weakness on the c file. And overall, white doesn't have any real counterplay anymore. So black in long term has advantage in the center. He can get the long diagonal if he wants to. Knight can go to d5. It's just better pieces. Also the bishop on g7 will be very strong. I think black could have very easy play here. However, instead, he wanted to be fancy and he played knight takes e4. Rook takes e4. I don't even know what he was thinking here. Bishop takes e4, then black can play d5, and of course his position is much better, but I mean, it was so obvious that white will take with the rook. Bishop takes e4, queen takes e4, knight c5, and now it looks like white got too happy. He had to take care a little bit and either play queen b1 or queen e2, but the main idea, he had to move such that he protects the knight c4. Instead, he played careless, queen e3, and he got immediately knight takes b3. So now the position gets complicated again. The knight takes b3, rook takes c4, knight d4, b5. White is still significantly better, and here he probably could have sealed the point if he would have played bishop f1. That looks really like a very, very dangerous position. I believe so black shouldn't move the rook because he'll lose the pawn on d5, so the best choice would be probably to take on d4, pawn takes, and play rook a4. But with two bishops, that looks very, very dangerous. So one thing that I can imagine right away is that white can probably play bishop b2, take, take, with idea d5 and queen c3 or queen d4. If black plays d5 himself, then That is queen b3, attacking the pawn, and if then bishop c3, so the bishop gets out. On c5, the pawn is actually I can totally take the pawn immediately. But in any case, white is much better. Two bishops are too strong here. Unfortunately, white didn't do that. Instead, he played bishop d5. And that turned out to be quite a mistake, because now after rook a4, black suddenly gets very strong counterplay. Bishop b3, rook a6. So there's a problem. Black wants to play queen a7, rook a8, and create very unpleasant pressure on the a file. So if white plays bishop b2 now, which was one of the possibilities, black can take, play queen b6, and here white doesn't have two bishops, yeah, so black kept the strong bishop g7, and the bishop a1 is really kind of weak, so black has 2 pawns for an exchange, and obviously that's a very good compensation. So overall I think black is slightly better now. White didn't play bishop b2 though, he played knight c2. Maybe his idea is to put the bishop on b4, so to keep the bishop at least a little bit active. But now black, I think, could have played something like queen a7. If queen takes a7, rook takes a7. Now the pawn hangs. After bishop b4, black can take, and play rook c8, but the pawn gets lost. Instead, black plays e6, and that allows white to come back in the game. He moves away the rook e1, rook d1 was also possible, queen a7. Black can't play d5 anymore because of bishop takes d5, so I cannot take back. And if black doesn't do anything, then white will play bishop b4, knight d4, and start attacking the pawn b5. Also, he may play against the pawn e6. So black plays queen a7, everything gets exchanged, and white takes on b6. I'm not sure about that. I think maybe the bishop b4 would be safer, because the bishop at the same time blocks pawn b5. He protects pawn c3. White has a square d4 for the knight, but he can attack the pawn b5. Right now the pawn d6 hangs potentially also, if white defends c3. So I think I would prefer this position, but white took on d6, black took on c3. And this position overall again is, I think, around equality. So rook b1, rook d8, bishop f4, rook a d7. It looks like black plans to trade one pair of rooks, and I think that's right, because without rooks, white doesn't have that much of initiative anymore. With rooks, he will always have some play against the pawn b5. So knight a3, b4, knight c4. So now rook d1 is not possible anymore because white prevented it. The bishop takes the square under control. Rook a7. Now black is trying it from the other side. King f1, rook a1. One rook is gone now. Rook takes a1, bishop takes a1. King e2. Bishop c3. Knight e5. And all of a sudden, after rook a8, white made a huge blunder. He played king d3. Instead, knight c4 would probably make a draw pretty easy. But instead, king d3, and you can take a minute to find the response for black, the winning response. And if you did it, then you found the move g5, which immediately eliminates all chances of white because he's losing another piece. If he takes on g5, then bishop takes e5, absolutely lost. Knight f7 would probably be the best chance. Take on f4. Knight g5. Take. H takes. But even when white gets pawn a6, he only still has 2 pawns against 2 black pawns, and of course the position is lost. So this is an interesting game in my opinion, both from the strategic and tactical perspective, but also from the opening. It's quite important because people quite often tend to use this side 3 and the queen c2, so it's really good to know that you can eliminate all of that with just a couple of moves. So in this particular case, the fourth move, queen c7, kills this whole variation. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this game. This is Leonid Kritz, FortresseLectures.com, signing out.